Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Happy October! Literally my favorite month of the whole year. Obviously Halloween, spooky season, fall, the weather gets better. It is actually a beautiful rainy day right now that we needed and I'm loving for today. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I hope you guys are too. I hope everyone's still being safe with COVID-19, wearing masks, etc. And I know there's a lot less you can do this year for Halloween, but there's still things you can do. And obviously, I'm celebrating in my own home, so there's that. This month, I talked about it previously. I want to do like paranormal story times, talk about things like that. I love talking about stuff like that, and also I do have some stories. So I wanted to share some. It's okay if you don't believe in this stuff, and it's okay if you don't believe me. This is literally my truth of what really happened in my perspective, so whatever. If you don't believe me, I don't really care, honestly. Like, it happened. So yeah, before we get into it, I guess I wanted to show you guys. Obviously you can tell I'm wearing black lipstick, if that wasn't a freaking giveaway, but I did a little bit of a Halloween kind of glam today, so yeah. And I also have these little like skull hoops, which is super cute. Yeah, I wanted to be super festive, and also to match, I'm wearing this is from Walmart. It's like a nightie. It says I need to unwind on the bottom. It says unwind. I'm not gonna stretch up all that way. But yeah, super cute, and it's just like a giant t-shirt dress thing for bed. But I kind of did my makeup to match that, so yeah. Anyways, so as you can see by the title, I'm going to be sharing a few paranormal story times that have happened. I have quite a few. None of them are that crazy, but why not share them? I know people are interested, even if it's the little things. Very interesting. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so when I do these paranormal story times going forward, and right now, I'm only going to tell a few at a time because they're kind of small, and honestly, I don't have one that's big enough to be one video. Actually, that's a lie. I do have one that was a lot that maybe can be one video. We'll see. Maybe I'll do two because one that I'll put with it is small. So today, the week, and yes, week, that stands out for me is what I decided to talk about first. I was gonna do it in chronological order, but to be honest, like, I would have a hard time figuring what story I want to pair with it because it's a bunch of little things. So I'll figure out how to do that and what to categorize those little stories as afterwards. But this week specifically is one chunk of time that stands out to me where I had 3 different paranormal experiences in the same week. So I'm just gonna talk about that. So in the beginning of that week, I was at my mom's house. I have 2 little brothers. One of them is 10 years younger than me. The other one is 5 years younger than me. So at the time, I really don't remember how old I was. It was definitely like before I it was definitely before I graduated high school. So I was in my teens. And so my brother was young. He was not even 10 yet. So his voice is like a wee little voice, and I was sitting on my mom's bed with her, and we were just watching TV, chilling, you know, like had the lights dimmed down. The only other people that live in the house are my stepdad and my other little brother and my little brother. And out of nowhere, I hear in my ear, because I was just laying on the bed, and I heard like, Caitlin. And it sounded just like my little brother's voice, but like whispering in my ear. So I thought he was like next to me on the bed. And I like turned, and obviously he wasn't there. So I was like, Mom, did you hear that? And she was like, no, like what? And I said, it sounded like Matt was just calling my name. And she's like, yeah, no, like I haven't seen him, like he's not in there. And like, it wouldn't be weird if it sounded like him yelling it. Obviously that's extremely reasonable and likely. But it was like right in my ear, and it was just so weird. So that happened. Didn't really think much of it. I definitely took notice to it, but then a few days later, I went to sleep at my best friend at the time, Bree's house, and she has So when you go into her house, you are walking into the kitchen, and then to the left is like just a hallway with the bathroom, bedrooms, and then, you know, the rest of the house, the living room, etc. And so her room was at the very, very end of that hallway. And beside that was her grandmother's room, and then down the hall towards like the beginning of the hallway when you were to walk into the house is the bathroom. So the way her room was set up, when you walk into her room, her bed was, okay, this is going to be hard to explain, but let's say you walk into a room. On the left side, diagonal in the corner, is the TV, and then the bed is to the right hand side, right corner on the right hand wall. So obviously if you were to be sitting on that bed watching TV, the door is there, like the opening of the door. You can see down it is what I mean. So I was sleeping over there, love sleepovers with her, still love you, girl. If you are watching this for whatever reason, you're getting married soon and I'm so excited for you, love you the most. But yeah, so we would like stay up, and I don't remember if we were watching scary movies. I don't think we were, but we would have the lights off and watch TV or movies at nights. And she went to the bathroom, and I just heard like, Caitlin, like someone definitely just trying to get my attention, and it was Bree's voice. And I kept hearing it, and so I'm like looking down the hallway, and like it was totally possible that that was happening because her grandma was sleeping, so like she could have been trying to get my attention without waking up her grandma. She definitely wasn't gonna be like, Caitlin. So yeah, so I like peek around the corner, and I'm like looking through the door down the hallway, the bathroom door is shut, and I'm like trying to listen for it again, and I don't hear it anymore. And I was like, what the fuck, like hopefully she really called my name. And with my brother it happened once, but with this time it was multiple times in a row. Like I could hear it loud and clear, and it was the same thing though. Like it sounded like whispering like the first time, but I thought that she was actually whispering down the hallway. Like it wasn't like as if the person was right next to me, I guess. So she came back, and I asked her, like I was like, hey, were you calling me? Were you trying to get my attention? She's like, no. And yeah, I told her what happened, and she was like, oh, that's so weird, whatever. But yeah, she wasn't. And what was scary about this was it was my name, you know, like it was two very similar things that happened days apart, so it was freaky. Anyways, my last thing that happened that same week was so me and my stepsisters and one of my stepsister's daughters was going to the Springfield fireworks. I think it's right next to Memorial Bridge, I believe. So we were going there, and we had a little scare there, like nothing actually happened, but there was a little scare there, so we were a little like shooken up that night, whatever. And then we came home, everything was fine, we watched the fireworks, all good. And my stepsister used to watch Ghost Adventures a lot. I love that show too, although I will say I have this theory that whenever Ghost Adventures, specifically that show, is on, something happens. But anyway, so I went to my dad's house at night. They all lived with my father, because my father was with his girlfriend, which was his kids at the time. And so I would always hang out with them. I was super close to them. I still am. Like, we're still family. I consider them family. And I would sleep in my stepsister's room, one of my stepsisters. And yeah, she would have Ghost Adventures on, and she fell asleep in her bed, and I was sleeping on the floor. So this house used to be a funeral home. There was body viewings in the windows, which, if you know, those like windows that kind of go like that, some of them were used to view dead bodies back in the day. It was some sort of funeral body viewing home, whatever. I've had weird things in that house too, like feeling like people were following me up the stairs and stuff, and that, you know, when you just kind of run because it's like it literally feels like someone's chasing you. That happens to a lot of people, but in that house specifically, on one side of the house, the stairs, that always is what it felt like. So anyway, so I'm in my stepsister's room on the floor, right? The door's in front of me, the TV's here. Beyond that door is where the body viewings were, the windows like that. It was pretty empty. It's supposed to be a living room. This house is like it's a 2-story house, but it's kind of like 2 separate apartments. They just had the whole place, but you could have 2 different apartments. There's like 2 living rooms, 2 kitchens, you get it. So there's that living room, and then beyond that is a big dining room, and the light switch to the living room is in the dining room on the wall. The light switch was broken, so the light still worked, but the light switch, there was something wrong with it, the way it was clicking, where it made a really, really loud click when it would turn on and off, you know, like it wasn't, you did not hear it like regular light switches. So you could hear that when it would turn on and off. Also, one of the rooms that went off of the dining room was their grandfather's room, and he is elderly. He moans and groans when he gets up. Like, you can tell that he gets up. It's very obvious if he's going to the bathroom or trying to go to the bathroom. It's not like someone just quietly going to the bathroom. You can hear that. And I was wide awake. I wasn't like half asleep. I wasn't dreaming. So yeah, keep that in mind. I could hear all of those things if it were to happen. I did experience it that night, you know, like him getting up and stuff. I knew what it sounded like. So my stepsister falls asleep, all cozy in her bed, and I'm watching Ghost Adventures, and all of a sudden, I don't hear the light flick on underneath the door. The door was shut. And at the time, because they had that upstairs part of the house, my dad and his girlfriend lived up there. I think they were the only ones home upstairs that night. There might have been one of my other stepsisters, but they were also sleeping upstairs. No one else was downstairs besides me, the stepsister I was sleeping with, and their grandfather. So the light flicks on immediately because I hadn't seen my dad that night yet. Since we got home from the fireworks, he was coming to check on me because sometimes he would come down and, you know, say goodnight or see me because I hadn't seen him yet. And I'm waiting and waiting, and I see shadows of a person outside of the door, like it's my dad. And the anticipation of him opening the door or knocking or saying Caitlin or something was building up and building up, and the figure or whatever it was stood there. The light stayed on. The shadows went away. I was terrified, but I mean, you can imagine I was terrified, especially because I thought it was my dad. And when I realized it wasn't my dad, because nothing was happening, I was like scared shitless. So the shadow went away. That happened pretty quickly. The thing didn't stay there that long, but it did stay there for like definitely a few seconds. And then a while passed, and then the light just shut off. No clicking noise, no nothing. The light just shut off. So yeah, the next day I asked my dad, his girlfriend, anyone who was home besides me. Obviously I knew it wasn't Chelsea, and I knew it wasn't their grandfather. I asked them if they went downstairs, if he came to check on me, yada yada yada, and as you can guess, the answer was no. So yeah, that was really freaky. And after that happened, and it was all in 1 week this was happening, so I was so scared. Even though I think this stuff is so cool, when it happens to you, I mean, obviously this is why I believe in it, but when it happens to you, you do get scared. So yeah, and I ended up telling my mom and my stepdad about it, and he was like, one day my stepdad was just like, so I heard, like, you know, a bunch of stuff is happening to you like this week, like paranormal and stuff. And I said, yeah. And he's like, that's so weird. And he's like, there's stuff here in this house that I could not tell you because you would not want to live here anymore. And ever since, I'm trying to like make it like a mystery ending, but literally ever since, I don't know what he was referring to, and he's never told me. So I can't wait one day to find out what the fuck that is. And yeah, so those are some little story times for you for the first week in October that I'm posting. If you have any paranormal stories, please share them. Literally, I know I've been saying that in videos, like, please share your stories, blah, blah, blah. I mean it. I look to read these things. I watch YouTube videos on them. Like, Tyler always tells me to go on Reddit and read them, which I really need to do that because Reddit, I heard, has a lot. But please, especially if I know you, like, just let's talk about it. It's so cool. It's the perfect time. Like, hell yeah. So anyways, that's it for now. Next week, this whole month, I'll probably do paranormal related videos because I was so excited for October to come so I could do that. And you guys just stay spooky. Have a great October. I will see you next Friday, and thanks for watching.